Hey everybody, it's Sam Atari here, and welcome back to Pokemon Vietnamese Crystal. I know that it has not been that long since I last played it, but yeah, I decided not to use my webcam because I figured it was just best for this kind of stuff. I was gonna play Final Fantasy today, but it turns out that my Final Fantasy file got deleted, so basically all that progress that we made is now gone. I would have to replay the whole game, and it's so frustrating because I don't want to have to do it, but I can't find a way to restore my files, so I don't know. So yeah, I have been leveling some people up. What the fuck is level 11? Pee-wee is level 10, then we have Camel, which I really like Camel, Rattata. He's actually, like, doing pretty well, like, now that he knows Quick Attack, he's actually pretty beast. We have Slut. I don't think Slut knows anything, though, like, as far as any moves that we can use. God, that animation. Yeah, all it knows is Tackle. And then we have Hehe, which I forget why I named it Hehe, or maybe it's already called Hehe. I think that's the Spearow, right? Abilities? No, it's Hoot Hoot. And I don't know, oh yeah, it's naturally called Hehe. Okay, I was like, why do we have a Hoot Hoot? The thing is I wanted to keep Shine, because Shine's just adorable, and I wanted a Jumpluff. I love Shine. But the problem with Shine is that Shine only knows Splash, Tail Whip, and Growth, and has not learned anything useful. So last time I was actually, freaking running around with Shine, trying to level Shine up, which I want to do so bad, but actually I'm gonna go ahead and put Shine in front. Oh god, this is gonna take forever. I'm gonna have to switch out Pokemon and stuff. It's gonna be annoying. But yeah. Route 3. I really have nothing to report. Like, right now this is just gonna be a pretty normal playthrough. Nilim. Who should I send out? Send out Camel, because Camel's beast. Go away. Birdaw. Hit me with the Birdaw. Hypnosis. Even though Hypnosis is not anything bad like this. Oh, right, this is what I was going to say. So basically, oh my god, I think the experience goes from the opposite direction. I have no idea, it's fucking weird. Hold on. There's a tree with fruit, Sunstone in, Sunstone got. Put Sunstone in bag fuck. So basically, I bought this old gold version a while back. Fighting happily. If you like to join them, everybody's fighting happily. So basically, before I go any further, I basically have this gold version that I bought offline, and it was called Italian Gold Version. And I'm like, okay, cool. And it didn't look like any gold version I had seen before, but rather than look it up on Google to see if they actually had a different cartridge, I just assumed they did. Well, anyway, the cartridge just looked weird to me, so I was like, okay. And I was gonna ignore it. Well, then I went on Google and was like, okay, that cartridge is kind of weirding me out. It didn't look right, because it was like gray, and the label was really cheap looking. So I get online, I type in Italian gold version, it turns out it looks like just the North American gold version, and every other gold version that they have except for the Japanese one, which is the only unique one. So I fucking was like, oh my god, that's a hacked game, because I was huge into Pokepastas. So I'm sitting there thinking that some guy's selling a hacked gold version on eBay, and he was selling it really cheap, so I ended up buying it. Well, it turns out that it is not Italian. It is actually basically just like Vietnamese Crystal, only it's Vietnamese gold version, and the translations aren't so bad. But they're still pretty bad. Lost just now, finding elves. You look weak. Thank you. So yeah, so I was just giggling, because like, I remember telling everybody when I first got that game, it was on my, my freaking, my channel, for a while, where I was like, oh my god, why did I send out fucking... It's gonna kill him. I'm gonna get killed by Camel. I forgot that I had him up front. So basically, when I first got the gold version, I was like, oh my god, this thing's gonna be hacked, it's gonna be like just like a Pokepasta, and I'm sitting there freaking out, and it ended up being just a really terrible gold version with really terrible translations. And at first I was like, okay, so I've got a hacked game. Well, then when I didn't have a hacked game, I was actually really disappointed. And then, like, what was it? I need to start writing these. Bind want. Okay. Okay, whatever. Sam, 64, mother send some. So basically what happened was it wasn't a hacked game. Are you an elf to challenging? It wasn't a hack game. I was disappointed. It wasn't, and then I was like, oh, well, maybe it's a bootleg of the beta testing that they were doing. Because for some odd reason, my dumbass was like, oh yeah, it's like totally like the beta stuff, and like back when their names were still like Silent Hill and stuff. And I don't know, I was being really dumb. I was like, this must be like alpha testing before they cared about like translations. And so here I am thinking I have something special, and it's like, no, some Chinese guy just fucking translated it from Japanese, and then some Vietnamese guy took it and soldered it all funky, and god. So I ended up just buying a really cheap, shitty, bootlegged gold version with shitty translations. I don't know. That was the longest and worst story I've ever told in my life. No, like, I remember I recorded the footage from freaking gold version, the weird gold version, but it's recorded on my iPod while I play it on my SP because I have no other way to record it. Stranged. Win, just now. Sam as prize, 64 mother send some. So yeah, so I do have like some footage of the game. The only problem with the game is that I couldn't save it. I am not a coach. If coaches look face to face, it's a sign to fight. So yeah, I couldn't do much with the game because it turns out that it didn't save. Well, the reason it didn't save was because the battery in the game was not pushed in all the way, which I found out when I opened it just this last weekend. So it is saving now. And so I'm tempted to start recording it again, but I'm not sure how I would do that or whatever. As the substitute of elf found. Yeah, I'm just really not sure how I would do all this. Oh shit, I'm off to get the egg, right? Or did I already get the egg? I already got the egg, I think. I didn't get the egg. Yeah, I did. Fuck, did I really get the egg? Yeah, okay, I already gave the egg to what's-his-face. God, I'm so confused. I'm just like, okay. I'm sitting there going, oh, we need to go to Mr. Pokemon's house. No, I already did that. And I was like, why don't I have the Togepi egg if blah? Well, it's because fucking... Finally, I know fucking Ember. It's called Bind, which is terrible. Like I said, I have to write all these moves down so I remember what's what. Yay, Shine level 8 rise. Did it lose? It didn't learn shit. No. Go ahead and send out Petal. God, if Shine doesn't learn a grass move soon, I'm gonna fucking go insane. Because the thing is I do want to jump bluff. Because either way, if I get a Bellsprout, I'm gonna need a Leaf Stone. If I get an Oddish, I'm gonna need either a Leaf Stone or a Sunstone. So if I get a Jump Bluff, like, that's basically my best chance at a really good grass type until I can catch an Execute. And then when I catch an Execute, I can have a fucking grass and Psychic type. Like, the thing is like, I know that this is, not supposed to be taken so seriously since it is a funny game, but if I'm gonna be playing Crystal version, I'm gonna enjoy it to the fullest, even if it is Bojank. Yes, I just did use the word Bojank. It's how we do. In Indiana, we use Bojank. God, no good moves at all. Oh, Camel. Because everybody else is, like, super effective against fucking water. Even though it's Birdaw. Bubbles. But yeah, so it's like I really want to record the gold version because, I mean, it doesn't have too bad of translations, but it is still Bojank, and like some of the things people say, the dialogue's been changed, obviously, because of translations, and I even think that there's some scenery differences, which is why I thought originally that it was a bootleg of maybe like alpha or beta testing, and it might still be. Well, that was really disturbing, Madak. Madak, you are very, very scary. Tailsaw. Whoa. See, like, if freaking one result. Iron Bud. Is it gonna heal me? Yeah. Okay. The thing is like, if freaking, Shine here, huge ball, would learn a grass type, we have Dark Cave right here, which means I can go in, kill a bunch of Geodudes with it, and have freaking whatever in no time. But I don't have the time to fucking do that. I could use Camel to, like, tackle it or some shit, but the thing is, my Pokemon are really high level. Like, it would take this poor guy out. Catch it. Catch it! Thank you. Because if we don't get fucking good Pokemon soon, react quickly and Strength Vine when something moving. No, I don't want to give a name to my doc. Because I don't know if I'll be using him. It's good for elves to illuminate all around because we'll investigate inside. Well, we will not do anything. Sam drug find. Sam drug bag fuck. God, it's terrible. But I can also level up Pee-wee in here when I'm ready to do so. Don't want to do so at the moment. And when finding elves, I overreach, feet aching, myself tired. I can grasp wild elves earlier. Sure. Pin got. Sam Pin Bagfuck. Pin must be the poison cure berry. Caught many elves. Congratulations, you're a bug catcher, right? It always throws me off when the bug catchers don't have a hat. Like, on their sprites. Like, their actual sprites. Petal! See, Shine, you could be useful if you fucking did something. Boy, I'm gonna have to level up Shine at least to level 10. But first, I think I want to go ahead and try to get my first badge. Try. Be the operative word. Granted, Slut doesn't know any ground-type moves, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Granted, I know first badge isn't really that hard, but... Oh, I should have... Okay, ew. That's like a spike. It's not supposed to move. That's very disturbing, sir. Very, very disturbing. I'm not gonna switch out from Shine to what the fuck every single time. Oh... I'll just grind once I get to the Pokemon Center so I can at least save something. So I am really worried about my save files on here. I really need to start actually, like, playing games continuously instead of jumping around from game to game to game to game. Because, like I said, my Final Fantasy, we were so many hours into it, we had just gotten our class upgrade, and the thing, it didn't save. I remember I did the save state. I remember that I freaking did everything. I don't know why all of a sudden it doesn't have my save. The only save it has is from when I was like level 5. So that's what bothers me so much, is that it has one of my save files, but only from where I'm level 5, and when I first started the game. Grasping at an elf in Dark Cave. I expect this elf to challenge Hey a duo, they Glucksam, blah 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 blah. Like, I don't know, it's very, very, very strange. Did you visit the Madako Tower? After gone a long way, make a call to home. GX City. It's hearsay that Ghost appeared in Beiming Tower at night, and it was invalid for a monster using common stunts. Huh? Sure. I don't understand. I guess in Bellsprout Tower? Or the Burn Tower? The exchange monster is easy to breed, but without the badge, it don't obey your order. So let's talk about traded Pokemon. I collect Elf Exchanger Madoc with my Yihei. No. Will not exchange, is too disappointed. What's Yihei? Aiko, tell me what Yihei is. Do we have a Yihei? What's a Yihei? Bide, Roy, Sisib, Zib. Yihei? Madoc, Yuzi. And this is a Yuzi. What's a Yihei? Maybe Yihei is like oddish? Because usually they swap for similar types. The only difference is like whenever you trade with Jose and he gives you a fucking Machop for a Drowsy. Oh god, connect computer to have a communication. ZX. Anyways. Yeah, okay. Keep Elf. Go ahead and take Hehe. Hehe, keep. Thank you. Withdraw Elf. I need Madak. Madak accept. Oof. Okay. I don't have a Yihei. A Zib is a Zubat, so just remember Zip. What are you gonna give me? Kind of excited. Here. Exchange your Madak with my Yihei. Yep. Here you go. Female. Female. I will connect the line. Pa Sam. I didn't nickname it anything, so I guess it's a good thing, because I'm not attached. It's going to Q3. Because I couldn't give him a name. His name's just Q3. Madak is taken by Q3. Okay. What are you sending me back? Sam Madak question mark? Give to Yihei. Oh my god, this is terrible. Like some freaking Yihei send it. It's like a freaking glitch shit. Yep, it's an Ekans. I thought so. I was starting to think maybe it was an Ekans. Even though I have no use for it whatsoever. Oh, it's an Onyx! Never fucking mind. Hello, Yihei. Nice. That's so awesome. Sam exchanged Madak with Yihei. Got Madaks. Thanks. Awesome. But yeah, like I said, the only thing that I'm having a problem with is that this cannot save. And the only thing you can do is do the save state. So, actually no. Please come visit again. Yeah, I will. No problem. I need to see what Yihei can do. Oh, that means I have to get rid of Slut. Sorry. Withdraw Elf. What can I use? Nothing. I mean, I could keep Slut until I get something else, but what's the pain? Anyways. Now I'll go ahead and heal. But yeah, that's my only concern, is that I have to use the save state. But the thing is like the save states are not working on my Final Fantasy one. It got erased, and somehow fucking this one might get erased too. And if this one gets erased, well then this is another playthrough that I'm just not going to be able to do for whatever reason. You know, because I don't want to have to go through and do all that work again. Okay. So, Elf. Alal? I thought its name was Yihei. Oh, that's... Actually... It's not stuff. Keep. Alal pin kept, so it had a poison cure berry. Move. Shine. Move. From shine. So that means we're gonna have to go all the way down again, because I'm gonna want to train it in the same area I was, so that I'm not running into Bellsprouts all the time. Which this is probably one of them right now. Ugh. No, it's a Zib. Hate Zubats. Go away. Fight my Yihei. So we have Prize and we have Telly, which is normal. What's Telly, but not decided? What's Telly? I don't know what that is. It's either Bide or it's Screech. Because frickin' it has Screech, no? Screw this. What the fuck? Go kill it. So this really sucks. I literally thought that fucking the Onyx would have like a rock type move. Ugh. Just fucking burn the damn thing. I don't care. This is crazy shit. I don't know how long I've been recording. I think I'm gonna record for like 10 more minutes. Okay, so we have a Yihei, we have an Onyx, named a lol, and a lol cannot do shit. A lol has no clue what it's doing. A lol is gonna probably get killed by a Poliwag. I'm not actually fighting said Poliwag, just so you know. I'm gonna send out my freaking tank of a camel, aka my Rattata, which is actually really cute and awesome. Now, I've been playing a lot of Soul Silver lately. The thing is I'm actually writing another Pokepasta. I've been writing it for some time. I need to fucking finish it. It's almost done. But the thing is Pokepastas are just, they're not really difficult to write, but the thing is you want them to be perfect. And that's my issue, is I want them to be perfect, but I know that they're not, you know, obviously perfect. But I want them to be. But the thing is like, when I wrote Decisions, which was my first one, it had a lot of mistakes, and a lot of people didn't like it, you know, because they're like, oh, this isn't very good, you know, and so basically what happened with that one was I had to go in and change it, but that kind of really discouraged me, because I was super excited, you know, about, you know, being able to write this, and I thought I had something that was really good, really gory, really scary, and other people didn't really think so. And then I went ahead and I wrote Reign of Sin, which I felt like I was more educated on, because, like, basically, Decisions. One of the things that I had wrong with my pasta was that I originally said that I thought Pokemon came out in 1996. And it did come out in 1996, but, or not 1996, it came out in like 1997 in Japan, and then 1998 in like America, I think, is basically how that worked. But it came out like a year, almost, not like a full year, but it was like a weird time period. But it came out in different years than when it was released in North America, at least from what I believe to be true. I don't remember what it really is. But yeah, so basically what happened was I said it came out in 1996, and I was like, I was 5 years old, because, like, I couldn't really remember, because I did have the first generation of Pokemon, and I do remember playing it when I was young, but I didn't remember what time period. I mean, I should have known how old I was, because, I mean, not to be, like, all crazy, like, sad or with you guys, because I'm really not sad about it, but, like, my parents got divorced when I was 5, and I remember getting both red and blue version of Pokemon from my dad when I was celebrating Christmas with my dad, and my mom wasn't there because they weren't living together because they were already divorced. So I'm like, okay. So I should have known that, but I didn't. And that was the first mistake. Another mistake was that I was playing on, or the game that I was describing was a original red version, which means when I'm talking about, like, people having cuts in their clothes, or having certain expressions on their faces, like, these old games from Game Boy, obviously, there's no way to tell that so-and-so is distressed. There's no way to tell the expressions on their face. Granted, it's still almost near impossible in the other games, but Game Boy Color, Game Boy, original Game Boy, it's definitely hard to tell basically anything. So later on when I said, yeah, like, they had ripped clothes, or that there was blood all over the place, like, you wouldn't be able to tell if there was blood anywhere. It would just look like black spots. And, like, there was no way to tell if they had ripped clothing. There's no way to detail that. I don't know, there was just a lot of things that I wrote that a original Game Boy game would not be able to handle. And so I made a lot of mistakes like that in my first writing of Decisions. So I later had to go in and I had to rewrite it as, basically what happened was, it was a fire red version, which means it had color, you could tell more detail. I, of course, changed the dates and changed anything else that I got wrong. I think I forgot to change something. Like, about the Bulbasaur being shiny. I think I said that I traded it to other versions and it became shiny, or that I traded it to other versions and found out it was a shiny, even though I technically would have found out that it was a shiny even in Fire Red, because shinies existed at that point. So I think I still fucked that up, but we'll figure it out when I read the second version. But then when I wrote Reign of Sin, like I said, I thought I was more educated, so I thought that I was gonna, you know, do really well with this pasta that I wrote. and no one really read it. Only one person read it, and they said it was too long, but they said it wasn't bad. But it didn't get a negative review, but it didn't get a positive one. So I kind of stayed away from writing Pokepastas for the longest time, until one day I was playing my Ruby version, and all of a sudden my Ruby version started making this really weird ass noise. And if you watch my channel, like if you browse through my videos, I'll have one where it shows me holding my Game Boy SP, and it'll be like, and it says something along the lines of, my Ruby version started doing this. And it's just this weird, creepy ass noise. I don't even know how to explain it to you guys, but yeah, it's just freaking random. Are you gonna learn a new move or not? God, when does Onyx learn Rock Throw or something? Ugh. I wish I had a TM for, like, Rock Tomb, or you get those, like, pretty freaking early in all the new games. But yeah, so the noise on the Game Boy, or for the Ruby version, the noise that it made inspired me to write a new Pokepasta called The Blind Ones, and I'm really proud of that pasta. Really, really, really proud of that pasta, actually. But again, nobody commented on it, no one has said anything about it, it's not been reviewed positively or negatively, so I really just don't know how people take to my pastas, whether they're good or bad. And yeah. So, wow, a lol was poisoned. And that's a symbol for poison? Really? Every time I see a lol, I think his name is Anal. And that's how you know I'm fucking perverted as fuck. Because I literally think his name is Anal. If it's a he, but I think it's a she. So yeah, so I finished the Blind Ones, and then this next one's literally just called Soul Silver, because it kind of revolves around more of a haunted game rather than a hacked game. It's a game that's possessed instead of just hacked by someone to do something weird. And it's actually pretty long because it's written in more of a diary journal format, so yeah. Other than that, I can't really say much about it. I don't want to give anything away, but it was inspired by real events that happened. Obviously, I did have inspiration, so it was inspired by stuff, but as to what it was really inspired by, I guess I could just tell you since I'm gonna, like, freaking, yeah, talk about it later anyways. So basically, the inspiration for Soul Silver was when I got my 3DS, my Nintendo 3DS, my girlfriend bought it for me for $150, and she bought it for me from a soldier, because she's in the army, so she bought it from a soldier that was selling his shit, and he just didn't want it anymore. And the 3DS was brand new, it's just, the only problem is, he never had time to play it. So basically he was like, okay, I'm selling it for $150, and it comes with like 9 games. It originally came with like 11 games, but the only problem with that was, it came with 11 games, but he lost Mario Kart, and he lost, like, the Legend of Zelda, like, the, Ocarina of Time remake, which I ended up buying anyways, but, he lost it, so I didn't get those 2 games, but there's still a lot. There was, like, Scribblenauts Unlimited, Super Scribblenauts, Mario Party, DS, just a lot of shit, Dragon Quest 9, and out of all the games, he had Super Mario 3D Land, Super Mario Bros. 2, blah 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 blah, but out of all the freaking things that he had, one of the games was Soul Silver, and the thing is I already had Heart Gold, so this was actually pretty fucking sweet, because I had been wanting Soul Silver, because I eventually want all the games that I don't have, and I want both versions, so I can, you know, basically catch all the Pokemon by freaking trading with myself. But yeah, and so I took it off his hands, and I'm like, oh my god, you have Pokemon Soul Silver? He's like, yeah, I love Soul Silver. And I was like, I have Heart Gold. And he's like, well, Silver was always better. And I'm like, bullshit. So we started talking, and the guy's name was Dean. But he's like, yeah, I beat it, and I really just don't want to replay it, and I mean, it's nice and everything, but I don't battle, and I don't trade, and they're shutting down and the Wi-Fi is kind of finicky because we don't have WEP here, and so I can't really, like, use it anyways. And he's like, besides, none of my friends play Pokemon, so it just does me no good. Okay, so this made perfect sense to me. I could understand that. So I went ahead and I happily took it from him. And then when I got home, I immediately started plugging in all the games, playing around with them. But the first one I played was Soul Silver because I wanted to start a new game. Actually, what I wanted to do is I wanted to see if he had a Pokemon that I needed. And then after I would determine whether or not he had any Pokemon I needed, I would trade the Pokemon I needed from his account to whatever version I needed them on, and then I would kind of go from there. No, I don't want to do that. What the fuck? Anyway, I guess I pressed the shift key on accident. Oh, this is the second time it did it to me. But yeah, so I was looking through his game, but then his game started freezing. And I was getting kind of concerned because I was actually playing this on my original DSi XL. I wasn't playing it on the 3DS because it had to charge. But I was getting really concerned because the game was freezing, and I had never had a game freeze before, at least not a Nintendo DS game. So I didn't even know Nintendo DS games could freeze. So I'm freaking out thinking that my game, or my Nintendo DS is broken, or something along those lines. And freaking, it, like, finally, after it froze, like, 3 times, it would freeze, like, every 5 minutes. After it froze, like, 3 times, I decided, okay, I've gotta check this out, what the hell's going on? I looked in his inventory, I'm like, oh, nothing odd here, unless you have, like, 900 of every fucking item, which is weird, and he did, he had, like, 900 of every item, he even had items I didn't think you could get in fucking Soul Silver, which I guess you can, but, like, I was just like, man. So what I did was I used his rare candies to evolve Pokemon that I needed the evolved forms of, which he already had, like, almost every Pokemon in its non-evolved form, so that was really easy. So I did that, and after I was done using, like, however many rare candies it took to evolve all the Pokemon I needed, which wasn't very many because I have most of them already, I went ahead and traded them to my white version, or I transferred them to my white version, and then after I did that, I erased his file, and sure enough, the file worked great after that. And at first I just wrote a blog, saying, hey, you shouldn't cheat on video games, it's really stupid. Well, then after I wrote that, I was like, man, why would the game freeze every 5 minutes just because he cheated? And then I don't know, I guess I went to bed and I had this weird dream where he glitched the game because the game was possessed and it had to be glitched or else the demon would get out. And when I woke up, I was like, well, shit. I was like, that would make for a great Pokepasta. And I ended up writing about it where this girl buys the DS, accidentally gets the silver version because she wasn't supposed to get it to begin with, realizes how glitched it is due to the fact that it's, has all these cheats. She ends up making a new file, but basically the whole point of this game is that every time you erase someone's previous file, the person who created the previous file, their soul gets absorbed into the game and their mortal body dies. And the demon has to collect 13 souls in order to be set into the real world. And, and I guess whenever the main character meets the demon, he explains that normally he would just go out into the real world and kill people, or convince them to give up their souls, but nowadays it's a lot harder because people just don't even glance his way, or blah blah blah, or he just can't convince people to give up their souls. Actually, I think I'm gonna have him say something about how there's not enough innocent souls in the world, but that most innocent souls are to themselves and could never come into contact with him, and therefore he started targeting people through video games, because not only is it where most of the innocent people tend to hide away from in video games and books, but also because, everybody likes getting new games, and, even people that have fucking, keep their video games. Occasionally a friend will borrow it and accidentally erase something, or the person will erase their own file to start over or to sell it or etc. So basically, he's going to explain how this elaborate plan is just too simple, and how at this rate he'll get, 13 souls in no time. And yeah, so basically it's up to the main character to glitch the game again and hope that it, never gets found or something like that. I don't know. And like I said, it's written in journal format, and I want to portray the character, the main character, slowly going insane. The only problem is I'm having a really tough time doing that. I don't really know how to show that or how to portray that or whatever. I know I said I'd give it 10 minutes, and I know I'm leveling up, and everybody's probably like, oh my god, Sam, this is so boring. Okay, level 9. Do you learn anything new? No. Fuck. Alright, well then I guess I'm gonna call that a wrap. So let's go heal our Pokemon, and then I'll do a billion save states, and I hope to god, hope to god that this actually, fucking stays. I can't believe my Final Fantasy file, I'm still so torn up about that, because it just, sucks. Unless, my plugging in my PSP somehow, affected things, which I doubt. Because it also has Final Fantasy 1 and 2, Dawn of Souls. Only it has it for the fucking PSP, and I'm afraid that whenever I was downloading it, it got confused with my other Final Fantasy or whatever, and somehow just fucked it up. I have no idea. So, sorry that this episode was kind of boring. I know that I talked a lot about my writings and my Pokepastas. I know it's not full of the funny things that you're used to. We did get a Yihei, which is called a lol, which I will forever call anal just because it looks like anal. If I could change the nickname, I would change it to anal in a minute just because I think it's funny. So go ahead and hit like if you like these videos. Like I said, sorry that this one's boring, and I just leveled up the entire time. The next time I will play, or the next time I do play this, which will be part 4, I am going to go after the badge, and hopefully Yihei has learned some really good moves by then. I have to look up and see what level Yihei learns a rock-oriented type move, so I can take out Falkner, no problem. Yeah. And hopefully also by then Shiny knows a grass-type move, so we can just start leveling up our Pokemon. By the time I leave the first gym, I at least want to be level 20, or at least close to level 20, somewhere around 18 or something will be fine. I mean, it's not impossible to do, I've done it before. So yeah, so like I said, hit like if you like these videos, and if you want to see more, go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know, what your favorite Pokepasta is. Let me know what your favorite, quote from this game has been, or Pokemon nickname, or just favorite quote from this playthrough thus far. Last but not least, feel free to subscribe if you want to. I don't expect it out of anybody, I always recommend it just in case, because I do post videos almost every week. I do try to. Like I said, I need to start keeping a constant flow of the same series, so I think from now on I'm going to interchange one night Guild Wars, one night Pokemon Vietnamese Crystal until I get these beat, and then I will focus back on Final Fantasy. But yeah. So, woohoo! Oh god, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and last but not least, feel free to follow me online. I do have a website, I do have a Facebook, and I do have a Twitter. I usually post on my Facebook more than my website, but lately I have been posting more blogs, more gaming blogs. I still have one that I have to write, which I will get to probably tomorrow. And I recently just wrote one on Pokemon, what do you know? So go ahead and visit me there, you can see it in the outro, and that's basically all I got. So until part 4 comes around of Pokemon Vietnamese Crystal, I am out. And I'll talk to you guys later. Alright. Ciao, you guys.